Hi everyone, welcome to another week's video. Today I have something very exciting to share with you. This is the new book from Ana Victoria Calderon. I have other books from her and I love her watercolor paintings. I have done also a few courses with this artist on Skillshare. She has also courses on Domestika. She's very well known in the watercolor world. So I hope that you enjoy having a view of her newest book. This was very kindly sent to me by Quarto. Quarto is the publisher of these books. Before I start, as usual, I would like to thank everyone that has been supporting me here. I really appreciate it. And if you like the content, remember to give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. I will have a lot of interesting things to share in the upcoming weeks. I'm always sharing about watercolor and art-related content, paints, books, occasional tutorials, so keep an eye to this space, and thank you very much for following me here. So, as the name says, this is a watercolor texture book where she shares some ideas and inspiration for using patterns and texture with watercolor, which is something I'm really into. I love painting patterns and textures, and yeah, her artwork is really very recognizable. She loves using also textures and patterns and metallics. And she paints a lot about things a bit mystical and sacred geometry. She also has a book on that, which I purchased. I'm not sure if I reviewed here on the channel, but if you are interested in seeing this one, let me know in the comments. I can also share a little bit about the other book. Now, here you have the contents. We have the introduction, some watercolor basics, texture swatching with different type of textures, wet on dry, wet on wet, inspired textures, mindful painting, mystical landscapes, excuse me. And she also offers some templates for you to practice the ideas that she shares here in the book. So probably for many of you, this won't be anything new. Ana Calderon, like I said, is very well known among watercolorists. And look at this, it's very beautiful artwork. I particularly love artwork of sea-themed. That's one of my favorite things to paint, and using patterns in corals and reefs, it's just so fun. And here she has also some wet on wet technique, like with water blooms, wet on dry. Start with the basics, which can be useful if you're a beginner. Supplies, some drawing tools. Here she's talking about texture swatching, so creating your own library of different patterns made with watercolors. So she suggests making a grid and then filling in with some ideas. She actually also has a course, now that I am thinking of it. There was a course on Domestika and Skillshare about watercolor textures. I took this class of hers and it was very fun. So there's a lot that she shares in the book that she also shared in this class. So these are simple textures. Even some of them look very intricate. She shows here step by step how to do them using masking tape. Then wet on wet, some tie-dye effects. Then she goes into mixed media. That's when you add other materials into it, so it could be ink, it could be rubbing alcohol. Here she's sharing more about using ink, colored pencils, pens, metallic pens. So yeah, there's a good few ideas here to try. Then she has a challenge. She has some images over here that you can try and replicate in watercolor, which is also fun. I personally find useful to have a board. I have like some Pinterest boards on textures. When I find anything interesting, I just drop it in there to have for inspiration. And here she has some images that she took as inspiration, and then she created some patterns from it. So we have leaves, water, rainbow clouds, chameleon. Coral, wood, fresh water. The only thing I find that could have been useful, mostly for beginners, is to have a little explanation of how she arrived to these results. For example, here in the water, or here, you know, I know that this was created using negative painting technique, but for a beginner maybe it's not that obvious. So I would say, even though there's some beginner info at the beginning of this book, it's not that straightforward for beginners to know where to start from for some of these textures, like galaxies, and for those that are already used to watercolor and have experience with different techniques, it's a good source of inspiration. I love this type of ethnic pattern. This one is very beautiful as well, the terrazzo tile. And I think you can use also this as a starting point, like for your own ideas about textures. You can also, like I said, use Pinterest and use your search your own images to start from, to create your own library of patterns and textures. Now, in this part, she starts sharing some projects, which she calls mindful painting. So here you have pine forest, some pebbles or stones, very beautiful and monochromatic. Also in warmer tones, so you can try different color palettes. Then you have abstract stripes. It's a very nice way also to test some of the patterns, and you can have it as a sampler. Sand dollars and sea urchins. This is very beautiful. It's another thing I love painting. Sea themed, love sea themed stuff and fish. More pebbles. This is also very nice use of wetting wet technique with some granulating paints as well. Then she goes into mystical landscapes. You can see very heavy use of patterns here. This one is also very beautiful. I will show you a bit close up. You have a lot of pattern in the water, on the planets as well. I wish she would have mentioned some of the colors she uses here, but as for my experience with Ana Victoria courses and books, she usually uses her personal mix of colors. So she used the dirty palette to mix different colors, so it's never pure pigment from the tube. That's why I think you never see like specific colors mentioned in the palettes. But it's good to have an idea to refer anyway. You can always use your own set of colors to replicate what she's proposing here. I have a bit further inspiration. Night scenes, desert, moon. She paints a lot of moon themed artwork, and this is my favorite from the whole book. I absolutely love this composition, the colors, everything. This will be the first one I'm gonna try to paint from this book. This one I think appeared on her course, if I'm not mistaken, in Skillshare. And then here you have the templates from for all the artwork that you can use if you are not into drawing, or you just want to go straight into painting. You have here, you can use a light box or some carbon paper. So it's very good, so you have no excuse to start painting. You can just use the templates in the end of the book. So that was the Watercolor Textures for Artists by Ana Victoria Calderon. I really like the book. I find it's very inspiring. I'm gonna use it to start building my own library of patterns, and I look forward to trying some of the projects here. Let me know your comments. I'm always happy to read them, and I'll see you soon. Bye!